Oh my gosh, it's me. Hello. Whenever I see the 3.114 there, it makes me think of pie. It makes me think of you as a little cutie pie. Hello, cutie pie. Although, pi to... Would you say that's 6 digits or pi to 4 digits? Sorry, 5 digits in the decimal. How would you say that? What a little cutie pie. Hello, Happy New Year. I got some fizzy water to celebrate the new year. Okay, this is going to be shocking, I know, but I'm going to do a Blobz puzzle. I think. I'm going to try. I didn't stream much last year. I didn't do enough Sudoku last year. I started picking up Sudoku again. I recently did some test solves for Blobz and feel like I did a poor job, but hey, what are you going to do? So, you started a new project. What's your new project? Is it fun? I did something, I have a confession to make actually, that I may have done a grave disservice to the Sudoku community by getting Blobz addicted to Factorio. So Blobz has been playing Factorio instead of setting puzzles, except for this Factorio inspired puzzle that we're gonna do. TVDK, you're back. Welcome back. That Balatro stream last night that was supposed to just be like I'm just going to stream for a little while before I go to bed, casual, gentle stream, ended up being like a 5-hour stream, and I'm still not done with it. I'm on I just got through anti 16, and I think I might, that build might have like naninth potential, so it might be another several hours. So I posted it on YouTube, many hours of Balatro. I kind of think I maybe liked Balatro when I was worse at it, because then it didn't take so long to play. But now that I'm a little bit better, it takes a long time to play, but I'm still bad enough that I can put in many hours and still just die in a run. Last night, we like pulled away from disaster a few times in a way that was shocking. It was unexpected. Okay, Blobz is playing Factorio right now instead of streaming. Or sorry, instead of watching this stream. Or maybe Blobz is here now. I could see on Discord it says Blobz is in Factorio. So, okay, we have this puzzle. Is this the one? Yes. I don't know how to say the name. Elvis? I don't ever know how to say anything actually, but that's probably unsurprising. Okay, let's do this. Seems like everything's working. Audio is working, things like that. Possibly, maybe. Let's go here. Oh, we got to do the thing. This thing? This thing? What did I break? Uh-oh. Oh. I gotta be verified that I'm a human. Hello, it's me, I'm a human. I hope everybody had a nice holiday season. I know it's January 9th. I'm still like ramping up on the year. I'm not like, look at that. That's beautiful. Look at that. The strobing is maybe not going to be comfortable for people, but I do like it. Oh, it looks like it's from Luminous Arise. It reminds me of, which is a really beautiful game. There's the thing. This is not, I'm treading old territory here. So I think maybe we look for like a factory or something. Can I do that here? There's a part of me that still is in 2019. There's a part of me, because of when I was born, that means forever the future will be the year 2000. So to me, the year 2000 is the distant future always. This isn't clever. This is some particular pattern that I'm forgetting the name of, that I've seen a lot of times before, but I've never seen this particular kind of turn it into conveyor belts. That's cute. Did that work? Yeah, look at our conveyor belt system. Blobz, hello. Okay, crude, heavy oil, light oil. You're here for a while. Okay, I'm glad you're here. I was just saying that I'm spiritually still in maybe like 1999, where the year 2000 is the future, or in the early 2000s, where you tell me like the name of an album and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the new That's the new Modest Mouse album or whatever, and now it's 25 years old. Yeah, this background's cool. I can't remember what the name of this pattern is, but I like it as a conveyor belt system a lot. And then of course, like many people, I'm still trapped in 2019 before the last 5 years of insanity, but I am definitely not in 2026. Even 9 days in, I have not really found any momentum to start this year. It's been slow. I've been playing way too much Balatro. I played an insane run that culminated in a 6-hour offline recording that I posted on YouTube. And then yesterday, my casual run ended up being 4+ hours. So, Skojo, hello! The RE77, hello! Oh, thank you. I have missed everybody. I have a problem where I just tend towards seclusion and forget that it's nice to interact with people. I have snuck by here and there, like lurked a bit on some streams here and there, but not enough. And I would like to try to correct that. I also am making plans to maybe kidnap Blobz and bring him to SudokuCon this year. If anyone has any ideas on how we could do that, don't tell Blobz. Okay, I know Blobz is here and reading this, but don't. Blobz, cover your ears and your eyes when we're conspiring. I actually a little bit out of the loop. The plan is that it is in the UK. Are you going, Scott? I would be interested to. I actually felt very sad that I did not go last year. I am such, like, by default, not a social person, but I'm working on that, and I think it would be fun. I wish I had gone last year. It seems like a fun thing to do. Let's read these rolls, by the way. I've had this puzzle just idling here for 4 minutes. So, as I've said, I did a deep disservice to the Sudoku community by getting Blobz addicted to Factorio, and this is a result. Phoenix, hello. I don't know if everyone knows me. I have done some Sudoku solving. I feel like my niche in the Sudoku community is to be okay at solving Sudokus, but not so good that people don't feel the need to like aggressively try to correct me, which is part of the reason we have, I think we're in kisses mode still. We're still in kisses, so maybe we should change this back to tomatoes, but if I'm making a mistake, you can kiss the screen. So that's my niche, is to be like okay at Sudoku, but to like miss really obvious things. So people will be like, hey, look here. Okay, 100% confirmed. Last weekend of July in Manchester. I probably am the #1 Blob streamer in the world. There was a period where I had solved every Blob puzzle released and perhaps even unreleased, because I've done a lot of test solves for Blobz. But I have to admit I'm behind. I think a goal for this year might be becoming the #1 Blobz solver again. 3 police, that's too much. Blobz, I did not do enough Sudoku last year. Okay, the one good thing though is a fair number of those releases I think I have done because they're releases of things like Lord of the Rings and such. Is that true? At least some of the scheduled Logic Master releases are puzzles that I have solved, so which is only going to make it even more complicated. But I also want to go through and log all my solves. Actually, Skojo, I realized something. Well, no, I don't. My realization is missing. Where's my realization? Okay, well, my realization does not appear to be within reach. However, I realized that I had committed to sending you a Sudoku pad, and then I did not do so. And I feel terrible about it. So, Skojo, I do want to send your Sudoku pad soon. The one I sent to Blobz was confiscated by Show. Oh, right. Moratoriums. Oh, right. And then I can release certain videos at that time. I have probably something like, I have at least probably have at least 100 hours, if not more, of unreleased YouTube videos of Blobz solves, which is very silly. The nightmare about those are, since no one else was watching, there was no one to kiss the screen or anything to tell me when I was doing something horrible. Okay, please DM your address. I would like to send that to you, so at least one more can exist on this earth out into the world. Okay, we really are going to read the rules now. I'm sorry. This is actually the main thing I'm probably known for in streaming, well before I started Sudoku, is being infinitely distractible, like just to an embarrassing degree, where already I want to talk to you about flashlights, because I've been like building a new contraption for a museum exhibit and getting into flashlight parts, and I ordered a bunch of flashlight parts that just arrived from China and very promptly like blinded myself, which I'm pretty sure I still have eye damage from an infrared screen I built 10 years ago, which shining bright infrared light into your eyes is a bad thing to do because you can't see it. You're just staring at a bright light that you can't actually see. And then you wonder, like, why does my head hurt? And why does my vision feel bad? I need to get some goggles when I'm doing these light-based projects, I think. I've almost certainly done some deep irreparable damage to my eyeballs, which is not cool. I need these eyeballs. Although one way I like console myself sometimes, if I think like, oh no, what if I lose my hearing? I think about like, you know, people that have accomplished great things, of course, with their hearing. Sometimes I think, well, if I lost my sight, I would just focus on music. And I remember there's a Euler, my favorite mathematician of all time. When he went blind, he said, finally, no more distractions. And then his body of work after he went blind was even greater, I think, than his body of work before he went blind, because he could just live fully in his head and do math all the time. I don't expect that. Ooh, yeah, I would like to see that. Some classics. Okay, really, let's read these rules. It is my understanding that this is a yin-yang sightline puzzle. I played some Factorio with Blobz, so all I see are like conveyor belts and things like that. Shade cells using two colors such that each color forms an orthogonally connected region, and no 2x2 area is a single color. So that sounds pretty yin-yang-y to me. We're going to end up with like squirrely, oops, I broke it. This 2x2 is not allowed. Squirrely paths moving around in the world. That sounds, I broke it already. Okay, this is broken already. I've done a bad job here. Maybe. Digits in caged cells indicate how many cells of the same color are seen orthogonally from that position, including itself. So these are our little sightline fellows. Okay. A digit in a cell with arrows must match the total count of cells of the opposite color in all given directions. So if this cell is blue, for example, all right, yeah, a 7 in a cell with arrows pointing east and south. Do we have an east and south arrow? A 7 in a cell with arrows pointing east and south might be counting 4 cells to the south. Oh, so it's a sum total. Oh, interesting. So there may be like 4 down here and 3 over here. So if this was blue, if we did blue and green, for example, what do I typically do? I've done so many yin-yang sightline puzzles and I can't remember my normal coloring. I think I typically do like green and gray. So if this was green, we would be saying maybe there's some grays over here and then some more grays down here or something like that. Yellow and purple, I would never. Is that that's your preference? Yellow and purple? Is this purple enough? That's more pink, right? I mean, I have a newfound fondness for a certain shade of yellow that I call conversational yellow. It's the color of a giant vise that I have. I have a lot of things are that particular color of yellow, but I do like it. I guess this is the closest thing in reach. I don't know about yellow and purple. I think I'm gonna do green and gray because that's my classic. So I have to remember 1, how to do Sudoku, 2, how to do yin yang sightline puzzles, and 3, do this puzzle with these rules. A thing that we can see, let me remember some things here. I think this is a 9 and this is a 9, is that right? The reason being, and these are like some meta rules. So like these are the explicit rules. There are also implicit rules. And as we go, we'll talk about it. There's like a bunch of implicit rules for a yin yang sightline puzzle. One of the implicit rules of a yin yang sightline puzzle is the boundary, the border, can only be 2 colors total. If it switches back and forth, you will end up breaking the rules that say that you have to be like contiguous, orthogonally connected. If you tried to have like gray here, gray here, gray here, that means some green is here and green is here, and it has to connect. So this gray can never connect. So this, if all of this is gray, for example, this is all green. That's a thing we know. That's just yin yang logic, an implicit yin yang rule. A sightline twist on that is that means that at least 2, if not 3 of the sides are going to be a solid color, right? Because we can only have 2 seams in our color. Yeah, the background is good. I should actually be better about this. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I feel like I'm being rude by, I forgot to credit the author of this, which is bad form. So let's do that. The author of this, Truchet Automata Flow. Oh, is this a Truchet pattern? Is that the name? Appears to be. This appears to be based on Truchet tiling, and then somebody made it into cool. I guess now that I think about it, I don't know that I've seen like this intersecting version of the Truchet, but it's really cool. Oh, these are good. I love tiling. Okay, see, I've been distracted. Those are beautiful. Is that like a fractal touche? Okay, get out of here. Go back here. Get out of here. Distracted. Oh my gosh. There are numbers. Numbers are involved. I feel like we have this conversation every time. And every time I come up with a different way to say cavalshit. I'm so bad at saying things. I feel like I'm a person who grew up reading a lot of things as a kid, and then had to spend the rest of my life learning how to pronounce all of the things. It's like how when you read a book, you have like a way that a character looks in your head, and then later you like see a movie version of it and you're like, well, that's not what I thought that looked like. I have that version with words where it's like, oh yes, the anti-malarial, think of how I used to say it, quinine. And then later someone's like, it's quinine actually. And it's like, no, in my head, it's been quinine this whole time. Okay, so the thing we're talking about is there are at least in every one of these puzzles 2 sides that are solid. Sometimes there are 3. If the seam is here, like if this was green, we would have 3 solid sides. Because these are sight lines, they say digits and cells indicate how many cells of the same color are seen orthogonally from that position, including itself. Where do we put our 2 solid sides? We can't put we can't make this solid. All 3 of these would see 9. And we can't make this solid because all 3 of these would seem 9. I hope I'm remembering this correctly. So I think that forces some 9-ness here. And I think that enforces, let's say that I feel like starting with gray. Is that fair to do? And then a thing that we know is this is not allowed to see any more digits. So this must be green. This is not allowed to see any more digits. So this must be green. And whatever happens on this earth, we know this is green, right? Because if gray reached down to here, we have the problems we just described. So I'm sure there is a more elegant way to just instantly intuit what is going on here. But what I often do is end up with asking the question of like, could this be gray? You know, if gray reached here, what would that mean? And that would mean one of these would see 8 digits. And in fact, one could see 9 because it could look up, right? If we made this gray, you could very reasonably have a 9 that saw like this. You could have very reasonably see an 8 that saw this, but then what would the third one be? What would that do? And the answer is we couldn't do it. It's too much to cram in. So this, I think, has to be green. Now, frustratingly, I think this could be gray because one of them would see 7. One could, for example, see 8, and one could see 9. So that's not super helpful, but we have the same problem over here. So I think this happens. And then in both of these cases, we also have a rule set that says there's no 2x2s. So this becomes a thing that happens. Now, we need to also think about going in the other direction, right? Like if green tried to reach out here, we have that same problem. We have 8 digits and 2 things will see at least 8, and that's not good for anybody. So this must be gray. And it looks like we have the same problem here. Is that true? If this were green, one could be 9, one could be 8, but then we have a broken fellow. And so this is gray as well. So that makes both of these corners green. So we're kind of defining some boundaries, sneaking in. We could talk a little bit then about what these digits are capable of being. This digit is hemmed in. So it sees at least 2, but no more than 7. That's not super helpful. We could probably think about that and make a better designation. This has the same constraint. It already sees 2 at least. I guess another thing that is an implicit rule is because every cell, every cage that is a sightline cage counts itself and has to connect with the wider world. There's never any ones in a cage in a puzzle like this, which gets a little bit interesting for this column, for column 4. Maybe not entirely worth considering at the moment, but just to remark on it, it does mean in this column that 1 must exist here or here. It actually seems valid for there to be a 1 here because I think that the digits, it's the total count of cells of the opposite color in all given directions. So if this was a 1, that could be okay because it would definitely see whichever color it is, it sees exactly 1 there. This could maybe be a 1 as well. So that's maybe something we could keep an eye on. That's not something I'm very interested in trying to pencil mark necessarily. We could start to make some, I don't think it's the time to do this, but you can see that we could start to kind of make some conclusions about what kind of numbers could go in a place like this. It's a minimum of 2, but we kind of know a maximum of, the maximum this could possibly be is 5, I think. So just to talk through that, we know that there could be, we already see 2 and it's not 1. So that's like a thing. So, but it's counting what's going on up here. And if it's counting gray, it's counting at least 1. If it's counting green, even if we did all of this, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could not be more than 5. So this is a little bit constrained. Opposite color. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. We know the color. Blobz is pointing out. See, this is why it's nice to have Blobz here. We are only counting the opposite color. So if we did not know the color of this, let's say we didn't know the color of this, which we may apply this in some other cases. It could be one or the other, but it is very clearly the opposite color. So it's still maximum 5, right? Because if these were all gray, 5 does seem slightly bad. I don't disagree, but let's zero in on this. How many grays could we put in the neighborhood? maximum, before considering the 2x2s that are going to be a problem. The maximum of 5. But in this region, we can't have a 2x2, right? That's a sad story. Everyone's feelings would be hurt. So these can't both be gray. One of them can be, but not both. It's the same thing in this 2x2. One of them can be gray, but not the other. So that actually caps this out at 3. Is that true? I mean, we don't know that these are here, but we know one of these at least is green, and we know one of these at least is green. So does that mean this is a 2 or a 3? Or can we do better than that? It's really interesting along these places where we've got a lot of grays, and we're avoiding these 2x2s. We don't have anything looking along here at the moment. So can we, well, wait. But if we only have 2, that's not enough. If we try to put 2, what if we only have 2 in this whole world? If we only have 2 gray, we've already had 1 here. That means there's only 1 gray that goes in here. If we only have 1 gray that goes in here, maybe that's okay, actually. That seems okay. Wait, I'm sorry. I lost the track here. Wait, I'm sorry. You said you had I've decided to just call you Cutie Pie. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. It's the pie. You said you had a puzzle-related new project, and then you didn't say what it was. And now you said solution codes. What solution codes are we talking about? I know you're not talking to me, you're talking to the other Scott. Okay, so 2 is possibly valid, is that right? If this is 3, it could grow in one direction or the other. I don't know. I feel like just sort of poking at these a little bit to see what happens. I'll look at a call. Going back to that one, I'm glad to do that. Let's do that. Have we exhausted possibilities here? I mean, we could come up with some number here of how many greens we could see, but it's maybe isn't that useful. If we knew about this, like if this was a thing we knew happened, but I'm not sure. You write the start of a story and set a puzzle in accordance to what you wrote, and I pass it on to the next setter who continues the story and so on. Oh, is this like an exquisite corpse? An exquisite corpse puzzle? I worked on an exquisite corpse project recently. I don't know that I talked about this on stream, really. What's my name? I didn't post this thing yet. Sorry, this is a digression. We'll get back to the puzzle. I'm sorry. This, unfortunately, I need to email them because I think their site isn't quite working right. This project was pretty cool. So it's been going on for a few years. It's called Telephone. A prompt is given to an artist, and then that artist creates an artwork, and that artwork is passed on to another person. And they don't know what the prompt is. They just see the artwork. And then they just have to continue. And it goes into like written word. It goes into sculpture. It goes into film. It goes into poetry. So the original prompt was this little fire film. The mandate, make something about fire, but make it non-linguistic. So that is what the origin of the path was. By the time it got to me, what happened? By the time it got to me, it had gone from film to painting to drawing to literature to music, back to literature, back to painting, back to literature, back to photography. So this is what I was handed. And even though the original source was fire, I saw this as like the ocean. I saw this as ocean waves and heard the ocean. And so I made a sculpture called the Portable Ocean. That is, it's an ocean that is portable. So it's a little device. And I think, very unfortunately, this is not working. Yeah, I need to write them. Anyway, I built this machine that it also has an accelerometer, so you can pick it up and look around, which is in the videos that you cannot see right now because their site's broken. Anyway, it was pretty funny that the original prompt was fire, and it landed with me making a little ocean. This is just like a tiny round display and a Raspberry Pi and like some simulated 3JS water real time and some like modulated noise to be a little ocean. It's not in reach, so I can't show it to you. Anyway, but it was a fun exquisite corpse thing. And then I think the next person made, like wrote a story, wrote some poems. It's another word I can't say about it. Okay, back to the puzzle. I'm sorry. We were talking about what? What were we talking about? We were talking about how to do this puzzle. And we were talking about arrows. And I'm remembering things like this from other puzzles where these numbers just can't be very big. This can't be 0, right? Mustn't it be 1? This has to see something. A digit in a cell with arrows must match the total count of cells of the opposite color in all given directions. For example, et cetera, et cetera. So doesn't this have to be a 1 and green? Does that feel like a true statement? That's fun. And we know that this then is 1 or 2. And we know that this is 1 or 2. And we know probably some other stuff. This can't be a 3 because these are different. So this is also a 1 or a 2. So we get a 1-2 pair. And a 1 can't go here. So this is a 2 and this is a 1. Don't be sorry. I'm so glad you got to stop by and already correct me. Okay, so this is 2 grays. Blobz, I can already tell I'm going to love this puzzle because I love yin yang sightlines. These are opposites. So this is green. That means green's got to eke out here, squeeze out. That means this is at least a 3, depending on what goes on down here. We said we're looking for opposite colors. I don't know if that helps yet. I'm going to look more for small numbers. Small wonders. Reminds me of a weird TV show. So we don't exactly know what this is yet, do we? Unclear. We know that these are at least 3. For whatever that's worth. 1 gets stuck in the rafters. Do we... Just curious if the 1's like squished anything. Or if there's other places where 1's are really constrained. I don't know. Let's just go pencil mark some more digits. Those are like well, okay, that's a thing to think about actually. That means this is, for example, with we don't have a lot of these, the places where the numbers are big, but they can be quite big. This person is 1, 2, or 3, right? It's counting 1, 2, or 3. This person can be no more than 4. Not true. It counts in this direction. False statements. I'm bearing false witness. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but not 6. This is max 5. Anybody else jumping out as hyper constrained? Like that's only up to 5. I'm going to pencil mark those because just to make sure that I know that I've thought about it, that I've looked at that particular arrow. This is only 1, 2, or 3, and it's not 1. So this is only a 2 or a 3, meaning we do have a little mixture going. There's a little recipe happening. This is maximum 4, right? But it can't be 1 because it is a caged digit. So that is a 2, 3, 4. Juggler, hello. It's nice to see you. I'm doing a Blobz puzzle, which I know will shock you in particular. You know, I thought you've been on my mind because I've been playing an outrageous amount of Balatro and trying to wind down on it, but not being able to. And I was going through and reviewing all my favorite Balatro jokers. In fact, I went through every joker and talked about every joker. And I talked about, I don't think I said it out loud explicitly, but juggler can be very useful to get the +1 hand size. Sometimes you really want a juggler. You have your own dedicated Balatro card. Basically, have a trading card of yourself. What did we say this could be? This could be up to 5. We're getting close to like some 1, 2, 3 things happening. The thing that's funny about this, it sees everything this sees in this direction, but this can see in another direction. It seems interesting, like there'll be weird overlapping thing. Balatro, I went through like 3 phases of, I would say. When it first came out, I played it and I enjoyed it and I thought it was cool and, you know, kind of hit my own achievements and whatever. And then I think I saw some videos of it and saw some crazy high scores and realized that it's like, oh, this is actually a math game. And then got really into it and spent like 400 hours playing it and then stopped and then was like, oh, there are crazy things you can do with this. And in particular, there's a streamer, the channel's called Balatro University, and the person who runs the channel, Doc Spectred, has a PhD in mathematics and just does insane things with the scoring, where it becomes kind of like a math puzzle game of like, if I do this configuration, I can get the right score, even down to like, I need the optimal positioning of like blueprints and jokers and barons and mimes to get the right exponent to get the score. I can understand, well, there's definitely the crazy combos get things large, and there's the synergy thing. But I think what I really appreciate about him is like the very measured, like extremely, because actually one of the things about his playstyle is very often the thing you're trying to do is not score. Actually, you're trying to optimally play your cards to grow your deck and alter your deck and make changes and make money and make all these other things happen. And if you score too rapidly and move through the game too rapidly, it's actually bad. So very often you're calculating to how not to score enough, which actually I think is where the game becomes even more interesting, where every hand you play has a goal and only one of the goals is scoring points. And very often, like, you only want to do that once per round. And other hands are more about like triggering certain behaviors in the game that are not related to scoring. So I would say I could definitely understand if you just don't like it, but I think it is potentially worth just checking out a Balatro University video and just see some of the world records he does and how like extremely calculated, because he has a world record with like basically every card. That's an exaggeration, but very much of like, how do you get the cat to the biggest multiplier, or how do you do this? How do you do this? It's very interesting to see, where it is a very deep kind of dive into the game design and the interactions of different systems in the game that are not just about like at moment to moment getting the big number, but then ultimately getting a number. For the run I was doing the other night, my score was too big to use my calculator for. The Apple phone calculator was overflowing when I was trying to calculate my score, because it only goes to the 1024th, and my score was larger than that, which is a limit in the game as well, which comes into like some of these long very long runs. Like that run might have been 10 hours. The run I started last night that was supposed to just be a fun, short, casual stream run, I'm already 4 hours into, over 4 hours, and it seems like it's going to be longer. The possibilities, the very high skill ceiling is maybe a way to put it. And a lot of it comes down to like kind of clever problem solving of like, how do I accomplish this particular thing in a given moment. So I really enjoy it. I also enjoy a game called Sudoku. I also enjoy a game called Factorio, which I think inspired Blobz to make this Sudoku puzzle. So, or at least I read it that way. If it's not explicit, it's I'm reading between the lines. So we were looking for just some constrained folks. I seem to remember puzzles in the past that do weird things like this, of where like I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, I'm looking at you. That hasn't quite come back into my brain yet. Do we... If we put a 3 here, this is forced to be a 2. Is there funny interaction here, actually? Because we're trying to count grays. Yeah, this is trying to count grays. If we... This is not a 1 or a 2. So it either is a 3 and stays in its little nook, because it already sees 3, and it can't grow this way because this 2. Oh, right. Okay, I'm sorry. This is not a cage 2, so never mind. I was going to say that this couldn't grow this way, but this certainly could grow this way. This is not in a cage. I was telling a lie. That was a false statement that I just gave. False witness. We do know that these are minimum 3. We had these 9s. We do know 9, that's not a terribly helpful statement, is it? Like 9 is in this neighborhood somewhere. But, okay, sorry. I'm going to try to not distract myself for a minute and think about this puzzle a little bit that I'm doing. I kind of want to just pencil mark all of the bidirectional cells. Maybe that's just not really useful, because this could have... We're counting grays, right? So if we're counting grays and all these were gray, which maybe that can actually happen, but maybe it can. But if all these were gray, this could be 6. Opposite. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm counting greens. You're right. You're right. I was testing you. I was just testing you. I'm counting greens, not grays. So it could be 7. But if these were all green, is that possible? No, because that breaks. This 2 would break. Oh no, where's my mods? My one mod, I think I have 2 mods. Riot. I know. We need Grimbone in here. I'm sorry. You're right that this is counting greens, for example. We did talk about that a little bit, that this could max out at 7 and is at least 2, but it doesn't have an arrow. Wait, sorry, what did you say? You said row 8, column 9. Row 8, column 9 is counting greens, yes. Okay. Not row 9, column 8. Row 8, column 9. We're counting greens, but we can't have 7. Let's just talk about this for a minute, and then maybe I will be slightly more coherent. So we're counting greens. There's at least 2 of them, but it's not 2. So we can say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? It's not 9. It's not 8, because this isn't 8 greens here. So it's not 8. It's also not 7, because if it was 7, it would have to look like this. But that means this 2 then sees an embarrassment of... This 2 then sees an embarrassment of grays. Sorry, of greens. And so it's not 7. Can it be 6? Row 7, column 8. Does this need some grays? You said row 7, column 8. Why am I so bad at this? Row 7, column 8. You're saying needs some grays. It does, in fact. It definitely needs a number of grays. And row 8, column 9. Juggler, you're too far ahead of me. Don't you know how I solve puzzles, which is to slowly stumble through them and get distracted continually? I can't answer 2 questions at once. Right, this can't be a 1 because it already sees 2 greens, even though it's not in a cage. 6 seems not impossible. 6 might be impossible. So here's why it can't be 6, I think. So if it was 6, and we did this, for example, maybe actually it can be 6. If this was 6, we couldn't include the 2 in it because we would see too many digits, I think. I mean, I guess that's possible, maybe. Maybe you can have 6. Vision is blocked. Vision is blocked for cages. I don't think vision is blocked for colors. Yes, yeah, sorry. Vision, yes. The sightline rule set, which is the standard rule set of Blobz's yin yang sightline rule set, is always that vision is blocked. Arrows can see through walls. I see why you say that. It didn't phase me, maybe because this is like number 10 or more in the series of yin yang sightline, that I just think of that as its own rule set. And then the tertiary rule set just follows whatever its own rules are. And to be clear, in the language, it doesn't say that it talks about how many it can see. Like the cages explicitly say seen. The arrows explicitly say the count. So, in fact, I think Blobz maybe massage those rules, but I definitely can see that confusion for sure. I'm confused by any number of other things, but maybe not that. So I was just, the funny thing about this too is, yeah, okay. Imagine we made this green. If we made this green, this is gray and this is gray, and that's okay. If we made this green, this is gray. Sorry, if we made this gray, this is green and this is green, and that doesn't compromise the 2 here. Sorry. And if this was green, this is, so I think this isn't too broken yet. Just generally confused. It's okay to be a little confused going through life. The universe is a confounding place continually. The thing I was trying to do is build a case that we would have a hard time with 6, but it may actually be possible for these all to be green. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because then this would be gray and it would see 2 green. So it actually, I think it is okay for that to be a thing that happens to us. Okay, I'm gonna just continue on my little survey of counting, I think. We know this is gray, we are counting greens. If there was a universe where these were all green, what would that mean? That would mean this had, that can't happen, right? Because we already said this could only be a maximum of 4. So these can't all be green. So this is not counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This can't be 6 because that would mean this saw too many digits. So at a minimum, if we kicked this person out, we would be saying that it could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. It can't be 1 or 2. So like 6 would have been the maximum, the theoretical maximum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green. We just said that breaks this, so that takes 6 out. It's not a 1 because it's a cage, and it's not a 2 because it sees a 2. So it does see 3 or 4 or 5 greens from this vantage point. This person, unfortunately, we don't know the nature of their coloration, but we do know that it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because it's one of the other of these. So it's no more than 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but it's not 1 because it's a cage and because it sees 1. If it were 5, if this were 5, The only way it could be 5 is if these are all the same color. So if this were 5, you could maybe do gray here. And then this would be 4, for example. And this would be 2 or whatever it is. You couldn't do 5 and have these all be green though, because that would break this person. So there's like some pressure between those fellows. This just seems like it seems an awful lot of digits. I guess we know that it sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the maximum. If it were gray, you could see a maximum of 7. There's probably reasons that doesn't really work. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because it can't be 1 or 2, and it can't be 8 or 9 because it's just not allowed. In fact, no arrow that is a single, like a unidirectional arrow, happens. 7 is no good. Let's take a look at that. So if we tried to put a 7 here, we would be saying these are all green. This would be a 7. This would be something like an 8 because it could see up. This would be at least a 7. Wait, why don't we like 7s? Why does 7 make us sad? If this was 7, they would be all green. Does that cause... Oh, yeah, of course. I'm sorry. The 2x2 rule. Excuse me. Yeah, recall that we have the 2x2 rule. If this was 7, the only way it could be 7 if these were all greens, and that is not happy. That's not okay. We would at least need to not have this to avoid making 2x2s. So 7 is not allowed. That is absolutely true. Yeah, 2x2s. Speaking of 2x2s, there appears to be a 2x2 here that we have not addressed. So this appears to be a green person. So we talked about there being explicit and implicit rules. Another implicit rule in a yin-yang sightline puzzle, and I think in a yin-yang puzzle in general, where you have to have 2 orthogonally connected regions, you can never have any checkerboards, because if we made this gray, it would need to connect to this gray eventually and to this gray eventually, and you'd end up with a little island. So this must also be green, which does expand this to be at least a 4. There's perhaps a world where that could be a 9, but I don't want to live in that world or consider that world, so I refuse to. Are there any other 2x2s immediately that we need to concern ourselves with? We do have like our original perimeter concerns. It doesn't look immediately like we've really put pressure on those at the moment. We have a lot of vague notions about things. We haven't really tackled the bidirectional folks. We do know a 9 exists in this world, but we kind of thought this could be a 9. It would be interesting if we could rule a 9 out of this, and then we could stick a 9 over here. But it seems not impossible. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No. This couldn't be a 9. Well, okay. One thing I will tell you is this does not connect here for a number of reasons. One, because then this would see too many squares, but also it would see no grays. Because remember, we've got to see at least a gray. So this cannot extend further than this, right? That's a thing that we feel confident in. So that's the furthest we can extend vertically in column 8. As far as our extension in this direction, it's a little more fraught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can't take 9, because if I take 9, I end up with a checkerboard. So are we in agreement that this cannot be 9? Again, we can't connect this down here, or we have no grays and we're in a bad situation. So this cannot be 9. And so there's no 9 down here. There's no 9 here. So one of these is 9. I don't know how excited you are by that, but it's a small conclusion. It does unfortunately seem maybe possible to be an 8. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is maybe a thing that's possible. And then this would be counting at least 5 of those. 9 being here does not seem like too much of a stretch. Maybe it is. We know 9's not in there or there or there. I don't have much reason to believe that we couldn't cram a 9 in there somewhere. So, okay. This 1, we don't know the nature of its color. This 2, we don't know the nature of its color. It's determined by... This 2 is determined by what this is. This 1 is determined by the wheel of fate. It's determined by pure happenstance that no one could possibly predict. Whoa, look at our conveyor belt broke. Interesting. I guess we let it run too long. Our shipping system seems to have reached a problem. I had to build a conveyor belt. I love little rotations. Build a conveyor belt system a few years ago for a project, like a virtual one. That was kind of fun to figure out just the animation properties. Let's refresh. Let's go like this. We seem to have recovered. Sometimes numbers get big when you're doing something 60 times a second and they break. Okay, so this is minimum 3. It choosing to expand in certain directions. So also minimum 3. I was just trying to think about where 2 goes in this world. It's not here. That's not a 2. It's a 1. This already sees, both of these already see 3. So the 2 is placed in this neighborhood. If we made this a 2, it does mean this is all green, right? If this is a 2, this all becomes green. And that means this must be 7, 8, or 9, and this must be 7, 8, or 9. That means then this is counting grays. What did we say? Oh. Ah, shoot. Okay, if we put a 2 here and we're counting grays, the 2 must be exactly the gray. Skojo, hello. Busy night at work. Are people trapped in the escape room? Sometimes when I'm building a contraption, I think about you and I think about your escape room things. This thing I'm trying to do with this disco cylinder that I'm building that projects stars and has motors and flashlights that I'm blinding myself with. Maybe my true calling is to build inventions for your escape room, because all I seem to want to do is build strange inventions and contraptions with really beautiful, overly complicated PCBs that are maybe not like sound from an electrical engineering standpoint, but I make them really pretty. It's maybe my favorite thing to do. Okay, so I forgot what we were saying. We were talking about this being a 2 and all of this being green. We were talking about, what were we talking about? We were talking about if this were a 2, this exactly would have to be gray to prevent a 2x2. Then this would be gray. Is that true? That's not true. Yeah, this would be gray. Okay, well, here's the thing to consider maybe. Like, let's run through this. This is not the path I'm supposed to be solving on, but it's one of those things that just becomes interesting to me. If we put a 2 here, we have one gray and we need a second gray, which must be here, because if it's here, there's a 2 by 2. If it's here, it's 2 by here. So this is a gray in that scenario, right? I put a 2 here. This is gray, this is gray, full stop, right? If I put a 2 here and I don't put a gray here, if I put a 2 here, I must seem 2 grays, right? No, I'm sorry, you're right. I have it backwards. Those would be green. I'm wrong. I was saying it backwards. It's where I have to have the 1. That's not true. What I was about to say is not true. But I think the conclusion I was working towards maybe is true. Sorry, if I make this 2, this must be gray, is actually the conclusion that I'm clumsily working towards. Because if this is a 2 and this becomes green, then this is broken because it sees too much. So the first thing I was saying was wrong. The thing I was working towards, I think, is correct, which is if I put a 2 here, this must be gray, right? Is that something we agree with? And then all these are green? If this is 2, this is gray, and these are green. And the thing I was then going to try to do, which is maybe not useful, is say, if this is 3, the problem with 3 is 3 could grow this way. So 3 doesn't force this, but is anything else forced? I was just trying to decide, like, we already know this is at least 4. Actually, we talked about how big this could be, didn't we? Oops. Right? We talked about how it already sees 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's minimum 4. We also talked about how it couldn't be a 9. So we have some notion of the boundaries of this thing. It's like middle high. Terrier darts. Okay, wait. Terrier darts says, let me just pencil mark this. You think this center cell is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9? I'm going to say it's not a 1. Terrier, it's nice to see you. Okay, so right, back to this. What were we trying to talk about? Let's talk about this. What are we talking about? The thing we're talking about is 2 forces a gray here, and then both of these are green. If this is a 3, then 2 of these are gray, but do we know which one it is? Like, can we force one of these? Or do we just know? If I did say this was a 4, this would definitely be gray. And then this would definitely be green to avoid the 2 by 2. But then this could be gray or green. Oh, the next puzzle center. That's fair. That's very fair. Okay, let's think about this. Get your head in the game. We said if we put a 2 here, this is definitely right. If we put a 2 here, this is definitely gray. These are green. Happy ending. If we put a 3 here, what does that do? Ah, right, of course. We're saying that there are 2 grays that must fit in here and they can't be brothers. So this, if this is a 3, this is definitely right. This is always gray. Is that what we're saying? If this is a 2, this is absolutely gray. If this is a 3, if this is not gray, it's green, and both of these are gray. So are we saying this is always gray? I think that's the conclusion I'm very clumsily trying to arrive at. And then this, yes, right. To avoid the 2 by 2, we hit the green here. Now, this is now determined by what happens here, right? And if this is a 4, this is definitely gray, and we get the 3. So how do we determine anything? Counting greens, is this going to be really tall? There's probably some fundamental thing of like just from yin-yangness. Like, also if this is a 3, it must grow. But if it's a 2, it mustn't grow. I don't know what to do with this guy yet. This guy's really cramping my style. So this is no longer 8, right? Because, well, no, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what we said. And that's, do we still feel like that's possible? This would then be a 2. This would be an 8. This would be a 4. This would be gray. That seems to check out. Do we think this needs to grow and not be a 2? You know what I mean? Like, if this is green, we already said this is like, this becomes 7 or 8. And this becomes 7, 8, or 9. This is a 2 then. This is forced to be a 3 then. It's forced to grow then. Puts 2 over here. If this is green, it's explicitly a 4. Right? Like, if this is green, that's a 2. This gets grayed out. This is always a 4. If it's green. If it's a gray, who knows what it does. This is me overthinking things. It feels like there's cool stuff going on here. There's probably cool stuff going on in other places. Two does break with the other being 3. Oh, like a 2 and a 3. I mean, it does feel like you could put pressure on that by like following it through, but that just is not very Blobzy, right? Like, that's the thing I end up doing when I lose the elegant path and I start like putting pressure, because it's like this brute force thing that my brain wants to do. But it feels like there's something more elegant. Like, there's arrows that are telling us stuff, right? There's arrows. We've really been ignoring these bidirectional ones because they scare me. I like this song. I say it every time because it reminds me of the game Into the Breach, which was so good. We know there's a mixture in here. It feels like there's something we know about this situation in terms of what this sees and this sees. Like, I've done puzzles, it's been a long time, but it's like ringing a bell, where it's like you've got this sort of like counting mechanic, directional counting mechanic, where overlapping counts have an impact on each other. And this is really the only place that I see this that doesn't involve a bidirectional arrow, where these two people are intertwined because of their overlapping counts. I think actually like oppositional counts are also. So I think it's worth considering this, because like there may be something that becomes clear if we try to make this gray, for example, or if we try to make it not gray, for example. One thing that's funny actually on that point, this digit is definitely the opposite of whatever's in front of it, right? If this is green, there's two greens, so this is gray. If this is gray, there's two grays, so this is green. So this is, excuse me, these are opposite digits. And these are opposite digits. So whatever count we have of greens, there's a maximum of one green in here and a maximum of one green in here. 1 and 2. But I think you still could have 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe. Okay, no. This matters, right? So 3 is not valid because you can't have 3 greens only. Or can you? Let me think through this for a second because I feel like we're close. We know there's a green in here. We don't know which one it is, but one of these is green, one of these is green, and this is green. If this is 3, these are all gray, but maybe that's okay actually. That means this is gray. It means our like green slithers under here. It means, what does it mean? It means this is then gray. It means, okay, we're trying to count greens. If this is 3, this is all gray. This must be green. This becomes gray. This becomes gray. This becomes all green, which I guess is still valid from the perspective of this too, looking down, if this is gray. It feels hard to do, but maybe not impossible. But it really does feel like there's an interaction here. Maybe I'm just not seeing it though. 3 seems quite low for greens in here. We're saying there's only 2 greens in here if we're saying that this is a 3, which does seem a little low for such a long run. If this is only 3, that also seems quite low. Like these boundary digits being as low as 3 seems challenging, but maybe not impossible. We do know this is opposite, but I don't think. Oh wait, sorry. What did I miss something? You're still talking about box 9? Versus the 3? Oh, this guy. Sorry, we're talking about if this is a 3. Oh, because of the thing I just did. Oh, wait. So right. You're saying that the silly thing I just did, where if this was a 3 and there's only 3 greens, this is all gray, and we have to do this, and this is green, and it puts a 3 there. Right? That's what you're saying? Yeah. Is that like actually the path forward? I don't know. All we're really doing is ruling out a 3 here, but that is a totally valid point. Right. So the thing we were just illustrating, I didn't notice, but we said if this is 3, there's only 3 green. There's a green here, there's 1 in here, there's 1 here. This would all be gray, right? We can't have a checkerboard. This is gray. That means we've put a 3 here. that means that this is definitely green, so this sees a 3. So I'm willing to, I mean, I think we came by that honestly. I don't know if it really helps, but we did come by it honestly. A mixture here, a mixture here. It's the 6 that I'm more. So, but that's cute. I mean, that is the kind of thing I always end up landing on, which is not the way to solve things, but that good eye on that for sure, because that would make this a sad person, deeply sad person. I guess we could have still grown up that way. So, I mean, there's probably more of those kinds of things we could do, like pick away numbers. Okay, well, right. Here's maybe a worthwhile thing to say. This is either gray or green, right? Like it's one or the other. And in either case, it sees at least 5, right? Like this can't see fewer than 5 because it's gonna connect one way or the other. So that bumps this a little higher in the world. This unfortunately could be low as 4, I guess. As low as 4, but it at least helps us maybe rule out some lower digits. This one we at least know couldn't be 9. It's a minimum. It's going to see at least 4, but not 9. Maybe not terrifically helpful, but just trying to get. Partially, this helps me just know what I've considered or not. Like pencil marks, even useless pencil marks. This was very helpful from Tarot Darts, but even pencil marks that are somewhat useless at least indicates to me like, well, I've looked at that. I've looked at that cell. I've seen it. I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. We said this could be as much as 7. Well, if this is 7, isn't this definitely 8? And then this is definitely 9? And this would have to go like this. And this would have to go like this. If we tried to put a 7 here. That actually still is okay because this seems to be able to be a 3. And that doesn't seem to fully compromise this person's 2-ness. What do we know about you? I feel like we're missing something with like 2x2-ness in here, you know? Like, we know that 1 gray in here is not enough unless it's there. Just to break up the greenliness. And so, but then our 6s are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be our green count. Like our gray count could never be that high. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just trying to rule 6 out of here, but maybe I can't. In terms of where our grays go. Are we also doing something silly like just not observing checkerboards? Wait, what did I do? What did I just do? Oh no. Did I just rule something out by checkerboard? Wait, if I put... What did I say? I was just about to say... Did I rule a 6 out of something? I was just about to say we could probably do that like by thinking about checkerboards more or 2x2s more, but then like how do I get a 6 here? I get a 6 here with all of these, with this being gray and this being gray. And these, this becomes gray. This is green. These are green. This is gray. Did I end up with a checkerboard? Oh yeah, right. This, if this is green, it definitely can't be 6. If it's green, it's max 5, I think. I mean, it's easy to get hung up on that because you're making, when we don't know the color, we're like, there's 2 sets of considerations we're trying to make. Did we talk about this person's 7liness? Because something I'm noticing is that 2 of these people are 9 compromised. Like that's something we just noticed over here, that this person is compromised by the 9. If we tried to put the 7 here, it would have a opinion. So the problem with this person though is it is actually minimum 3, maximum 8, right? But, and if the reason I'm saying that is if we tried to put a 7 here, it would look like this, and this would be 8, and this would be 9 if we try to put a 7 here. But that, maybe that's okay. Possibly, maybe, potentially, in theory. Makes all these gray. It makes the count here like something that may bear consideration. This 2 we're happy with. It feels like there's some very obvious, like, this color is pointing here. Why don't you set the color? Or something like that. Like, we said this was also minimum 4, but it could be 9. Right? This obviously cannot exceed 7. It's just 2 through 7. This does C4 already. Oops. This is always the opposite color here. So this 2, we know doesn't grow in this direction. This 2 does have to go somewhere. This is always the opposite color. Have we thought very hard about this? What it means for that to only be 2? Do we need to finally think about these bidirectional ones that I've been like refusing to think about? Oh, this makes me feel sad when I like am really enjoying a Blobz puzzle and then I'm failing the puzzle. I feel like I'm failing the puzzle. It also feels like we were getting so close to like some triples. Or like, you know, this like a 1-2 or a 2-3 pair or whatever. It feels like we were initially moving towards that, but maybe that was not actually a place we wanted to explore. It also kind of felt like the ones were interesting in terms of just where they can live, but like this being a 1 means this is mostly solid. This being a 5 means this is the opposite color and it's fully solid. This was like reasonable logic, right? What we were thinking about here. Maybe we needed to go one step further over here. Because we know a minimum. We determined this and we feel confident in it. We know a minimum. Apex, thanks for the raid. 1982 is when my little sister was born. 82. It's a fine set of numbers. It's one of my favorite ways to sum to 10. 8 and 2. Great. Press hello. You're just in time to see me do a bad job at this puzzle. But the background is nice, so we've at least got that. You can click the screen to put kisses on the puzzle to point out if I'm failing in some way. So here's what we were just talking about, or a point I was about to make is we actually know something about this, a little bit at least. We know it's counting greens, right? And we know we see at least 3 greens already. So we have some bounds, meaning in this direction, we're absolutely counting at least 3 greens, right? But we're counting at most 4. So the contribution of greens coming from this direction is either 3 or 4, right? That's 3 or 4 is coming in here. So then the question kind of becomes, how many greens are we going to see over here? How many greens are we expecting to see? This can't all be green, because if this was all green, we would have 10 greens total, right? Blobz is back. Row 4, column 7. Is that true? Row 4. Wait, say that again. I can determine the color of row 4, column 7. Is that true? We did talk about that a little bit. We talked about if we put a green here, it puts a gray here. We talked about it from the other direction actually, but if you put a green here, this is gray, right? Green here forces gray here. If you do that, are you sad? I don't know. If you tend to believe Blobz. I mean, Blobz is a pretty trustworthy person, I would generally say. Okay, sorry. Let me just think about it because I feel like I'm just missing the point. I apologize. You're saying row 4, column 7. If I put a color here, you're saying I know what's going on here, which may be true. It may be true. I just want to arrive at it honestly. That if we do so, if we put a green here, there's a gray here, and this gray is definitely a 4. We did talk about that. Is that bad? Are we counting a bad number of grays or something? Or what? Having gray here? Or if we put green here, sorry, if we put gray here, then what does that do? Couldn't this still be green or gray? Do we determine this? Oh, thank you. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope your stream went well, and I enjoy your bed. That's a weird thing that I just said to you, but enjoy your bed. Enjoy your evening ablutions, your flossing, your toothbrushing, your saying certain mantras and affirmations into the... Are ablutions always morning or evening? Because I feel like people usually say morning ablutions. It just says washing oneself ceremonially. It's funny that, look, we're making a comeback. Yeah, the term, I feel like you hear it with mourning often, but not always. I like ablutions. I sometimes say that, performing my ablutions. Okay, Blobs, I apologize. What are we doing here? We're talking about this cell. What do we know about this cell? No arrows are looking at it. Are they? Maybe. I don't feel bad about that. I think many native English speakers do not know the word ablution. I think it is a very archaic and very formal word. And when it is used, it's used kind of as a joke. I think it's funny. I actually recently heard it in there's a movie called Frank that I really like. And Frank talked about performing his ablutions. It's a good word. Good vocabulary word. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's do this. Let's look here. Right. We said, if I make this green, this is gray. But also this is gray. These are both gray. Is that true? If I make this green, both these people are gray. Oh. Wait, hang on. Okay, if I do that, we already said then what happens? We know we then see 3 grays. So this becomes 3. This becomes 2 explicitly, right? And then what happens? These digits both count the same number is what the actual problem is. Whatever, right. I see. I'm sorry. This is great. This is very good. Classic. This is classic sightline logic. I was thinking about it in terms of what happens to this cell, but that's actually irrelevant. What actually matters is what happens to these 2 cells. That if I put a gray here, we have to avoid, I'm sorry, I said that backwards. If I put a green here, we have to avoid 2x2s on both sides, meaning these are both gray. If that happens, these are both sightline cells that already vertically see the same number. So no matter what we do here, these will see the same number. So this is invalid. It is invalid to put a green here. This is unquestionably gray. It's deeply gray. Is that right? Does that work? What are arrows again? The arrows are, so cages are sight lines. It's just how many of a color you can see in a direction. Arrows are summing the opposite color, but can see through walls. So arrows mean a green can see 2 grays, but with X-ray vision. It's not that it just sees it just knows they're there. It can sense it through walls. So you don't have to have sight lines for the arrows. Okay, so now what? Sorry. Okay, are we happy with this? Did we do the thing? I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought as usual. So now what? Now we are talking about, so we have made this decision with our lives. We know then one of these people must grow. Like this has more room to grow though, right? Is that true? I mean, this is also whatever, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Isn't this the same constraint at the moment? Just because it already sees 4, it can't be 9. And that one of them must grow vertically. It's a requirement. It's required by law, in fact. What does that do with this person? I want to go back to the other thing that I was thinking about. Now I forgot what it was. Okay, so we want to think about things. Use your noggin. Use your noodle. If we thought about this sum, because I think we talked about crawling over here and like how far green can go in this direction, and it can't go further than this, right? So let's think about that again for 1 second. Also, what are you doing? What is this person doing? It's really cramping my style, actually. Right. This digit could only be 8 if it went down. Because here was the problem. If this is gray, what is the maximum that this digit can be? If this is gray, meaning this is 3. So in that case, we can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can't have 7 because we would intrude. So is this the most green you could have? Well, but you could still do something like this, right? I mean, as far as the growth of this, you can't go further than this. That means that, and it means that then this person would have to grow. So you'd have 5 here. This would be a 6. That's if it's maximized. If this is a 4, then this is gray. The annoying thing is, I mean, we can go as far as here and here, right? And have 8. And then this has 5, 6. But is that an unhappy circumstance for this person? Wait, I see kisses happening. Is it you? This person? I don't know what to think about this person. I'm not emotionally prepared to think about this person. Now, okay. I'm not going to look at chat because I'm for a moment, I'm going to try to be hintless. But seeing what just happened here with this little saddle, the little saddle that happened here, should I intuit that there's a saddle consideration here as well? I'm sorry, I'm deliberately ignoring chat for the moment. And I see out of the corner of my eye kisses happening. I see the kisses. I'm ignoring the kisses. Okay, I just want to, let's just take a moment and think through. Right, we have the same saddle problem. Isn't that true? That if we make this green, these are both gray, and then these are broken. I'm sure this has come up before, but it feels insane to me that I've done so many yin yang sightline puzzles and just don't have that as an implicit rule. Maybe this particular configuration of the little saddle, but like just to talk through it again, if we made this green to avoid checkerboards, these are both gray, and then these digits both see the same number. So this is gray. We know this. Oops. Okay, is that what you're trying to nudge me towards? Is that, oh my gosh. Gray, right? This is gray. Are we happy now? Oh no, and the background broke again. Okay, it's weird. It's very funny that, I wonder, I'm definitely not going to debug this. It is funny that it like converges on this over time. It will just converge here. Maybe that's a thing that is always true for this particular kind of, I think it's cool. I have to verify my humanity once again. I'm a meat popsicle. Okay. Yes, that was the exact same logic. And so now this person must count grays I'm sorry. This person must now count greens, right? We're counting greens and it's 3, 4, or 5. Is that true? What's funny is we did talk about the idea of we've got to split this up, but that little saddle configuration is really interesting. I mean, and that is actually logic that I know that I should have gotten. I'm going to just blame not having done one of these puzzles in a while. The idea that one of these people needs to see more than the other, meaning one. So, right. I've done this logic, right? This logic is common and I should have seen it. You don't even necessarily have to think about this. You just have to know that, like, yeah, one of these needs to grow down. It's just a requirement that one of them must expand. Like, that's a pretty common thing. This particular little saddle, though, I'm sorry, you're right. I didn't finish my thought here. It is at least, it's 3, 4, or 5 in this direction because we're counting greens. That's actually what we were, okay, right. Now I remember the thing we were talking about, maybe not incorrectly. We were talking about this thing and we were counting this as minimum 3, but then however many above because it's going to count in the other direction. And that we're contributing at least 4 greens here. And then how many could we count in this direction? Is this actually gray or did I accidentally make this gray when I was talking? Is this a bad pencil mark? Did I make a mistake here? Do we know this is gray? Why would we know this is gray? This isn't gray, is it? I got a 50. It's a 50-50 chance. That's true. I'm going to delete this because I don't think that was arrived at, honestly. Anyway, this is 3, 4, or 5 in this direction. But then there's gonna probably be some greens down here, right? This obviously can't all be green because then this person would be broken. So I don't know if it's worth marking that, but okay, I need to do a couple things because I think I removed the 9 from there and shouldn't have. How did I end up with that gray? Who knows? Anyway, you're gray and you can be 9, right? Because you're counting both directions. Anyway, sorry. Okay, what does that tell us? We know one of these people must grow. We know one of these people must grow. We know that we did talk a little bit about the idea of this being a gray 6, or of it being a 6, period. It could never be green if this is a 6, and it could only be gray if it did this, and we were counting greens like that. That is a thing we were discussing, I think. That's a chat we were having. This person's making me angry. Look at this. Look at this creep. If this was green, if it's gray, it does mean this is 3, and so it does have to grow. If it's gray, it has to grow. If it's green, it just is 4. And this is 2. So, I mean, the problem is if it's gray, we said it has to grow, so it's at least 4. So we have a minimum 4. Are we back to thinking about this guy down here? I see the kisses. Okay. I'm getting there. We did talk about this a little bit in terms of like, could this be a 7? What would that do to the world if we made it that big? Or could it be a 2? And what that would do to the world, that would make this a 3. And if this is a 3, this is gray. And it must be minimum 4. So this is always at least 4, I guess. If it's green, it just is 4. If it's gray, it will experience a growth mindset. What can this be now? If this connects here, it's instantly a 6. And that's a 2, and that's whatever it wants to be. Okay, I know I'm supposed to think about this, but I'm not. I'm clearly not. 2 is a little bit hemmed in. Oh, sorry, we said... Oh, we did sort of say this couldn't be 2. Oh. How, yeah. Because it made... How honest was that? I mean, I kind of took your word for it, I think. I don't know that I really fully thought through it. Okay, what did we say? We said, right, if this is a 2, then this is a 3. Right? And that means this is... If this is a 2, this is green. And this must be green to avoid a checkerboard. And this is a 3, so this must be green. That's not totally unreasonable. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Like these were our options. It is true that if we put a 2 here, this is green, this is green, this is 3, so this is green, and we have a 2 by 2. So that's fair. Maybe that's probably not what we're supposed to do, but like I'll allow it. This does have a growth mindset. If this was 3, this whole thing happens. And these are from 6, 7, 8, etc., etc., etc. So we talked a little bit about this. Oh, we were talking about, that's what we were initially talking about before Blobz so rudely interrupted with logic and reason and clearly the correct path in the puzzle. We have talked a lot. It's what I do when I'm streaming and when I'm not streaming and I'm just at home talking to myself. So, but the thing that we were just considering a little bit is that we already have 3 of this. So for this to be 3 only, this would all be gray, which feels like an unlikely circumstance in this world, but maybe not an impossible one. I don't like these bidirectional people. They've got too many possibilities. There's too much. The possibility space is disconcerting. What? Did we need to think more about what's going on around here? We know at least one of these grows, but it feels like both of them possibly could. We did talk a little bit about where 2 goes, didn't we? The 2 couldn't be in there. And 2 is obviously not in there. And we talked about the idea of whether or not this could be a 2, which is not like an incredibly meaningful discussion, but we like, if this were 2, then this is all green. And then we have to like work things out amongst ourselves to allow for 7, 8, 9s in here, but that's, we do have some green in the neighborhood here. Which puts some pressure on this, right? Okay, what else are we doing up here? Are we missing some very fun and obvious thing like a 2x2 or a checkerboard thing going on around here? This is doing what? Like this either includes or excludes what is being seen here. Which is it? Does this include whatever's going on here, or does this exclude whatever's going on here? I don't know. How many greens live down south? Not? Okay, can this actually be 9? I ask just because we do have to break things up a little bit down here, right? At least a little. This could not be a solid wall of green for at least one reason is this, because it would be 6 and that would break this. So there's a maximum of 6 green down here. If we did this, interesting points. First, I'm going to maybe try to argue that this isn't a 9, but let's just see. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, but just for things that are interesting to me, if we look down here and we're asking ourselves, like, what can be green here? This whole thing can't be green. At a minimum, this can't, because it can't be part of this wall of green, because it would have 6. So you could remove any one of these perhaps and have a 5 there. But another thing that's a little bit interesting is if you try to do this and remove only that from consideration, it breaks this, because again, we're trying to have as many greens as possible. This is green and we're trying to count grays, and now there's only 1 gray. So that doesn't work. The problem is that doesn't really matter. Like, I guess, so just like this is another way to think about it, I guess, is that this is also inclusive or exclusive of this thing. Just meaning, like, if we're trying to count greens down here, and this is one of the greens that we're counting, it means that we have like an increased number of grays down here. Like, this being green excludes 2 of these at least from also being green, because we need a number of grays. I don't actually know that we can fully use that to pare down the 9 here. It'd be kind of cool to place a 9. I don't know that it really means that much, but it would be of emotional significance to me. I would find it emotionally satisfying. I guess a thing we could ask ourselves, one of these is green, right? Because if they're both gray, this is broken. So there's a green here or here, and there are these three greens. So there's at least, this sees at least 4 greens. But how many, I'm sorry, did I say that backwards? At least one of these is green because otherwise there's a gray. Right. So, but could these both, okay, I'm sorry. These can't both be gray. I'm saying this in terms of like we're trying to count grays or count greens or whatever. We have 2 grays here. Only one of these could be gray. And then presumably this could be gray. So there's a maximum of 4 grays. We just, if this is green, we can only see 4 grays max. I guess the very obvious thing to do is that and be like, very clearly breaks this. So if this is green, it can only be 3 or 4. If this is gray and we're trying to count our greens, it's a minimum 3. But I don't necessarily see why it couldn't be bigger. Cobbleshed says, sorry, where? Oh, row 7, column 3. What are we talking about? With row 7, column 3, this person, you're going to say that it's not a 2. Interesting. Because if we put a 2 here, multiple things happen. That's okay. That is definitely a thing we should pay attention to. Like, this person is under the influence of both of these. And so like the idea of putting a 2 here does some interesting things. If we put a 2 here, what does that do to the world? It means we only see 2 of a color. Right? This is a 3 then, and must grow. So we would see potentially 2 green if this was gray. You're saying based on this. So if we put a 2 here, that's a 3, this grows, there's 2 greens. But also if we put a 2 here, this is a 3. And, oh, I see. No, okay, of course. No, that's very good. That's very good. Yes, good eye. Right. The actual point is not this direction, it's this direction. If we put a 2 here, that means this says these are all the same color, which breaks that 2. That's the point you're making, right? Like this would mean whether this is gray or green doesn't matter. It means all of these are the same. If this is a 3, these are all the same. And if we put a 2 here, it forces that. Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that. That's great. So this becomes 3 or 4 or 5 in terms of both sightline and counting. That's right. That's an interesting point for this person too, right? Because we were talking about whether this is like included or excluded from the sum of this. Like putting a 3 here, if this is gray and a 3, we're counting a lot of greens. Okay, I forgot what nonsense I was spouting. This person these obviously can't connect, right? We've said there's a line here. We just draw it, right? Like that's a terrible color. The main problem I'm having with this puzzle is I didn't follow Blobz' advice of making it purple and green, purple and yellow, which would probably, I think if you make it purple yellow, it's easier to solve. But we know that this 2 does not grow in this direction, right? That's a thing that we feel confident in saying. Because if this is green, we have to see 2 grays, so this becomes gray. And if this is gray, we have to see 2 greens, so this becomes green. So there's always a brick wall here. So the ability of this to grow is hemmed in that direction. So we almost have to grow up here. We do have to grow up here. How are we going to see 3 grays? Unless we grow up. This is gray. This could be gray, but we can't get here. And this must see at least 3. Doesn't this grow? Doesn't that mean this is gray? So this is a gray person. Why didn't we do that an hour ago? I don't know. Because I didn't draw a red line is why. Had I drawn a red line, I can't believe I've been doing this puzzle for 2 hours. I also can't believe that you've been with me for this whole time. I appreciate that. I love Yin Yang Sightline puzzles. It's my favorite series. I'm always embarrassed when I do like an embarrassing solve, because I know it's never meant to be this hard, but you know how it goes. So we know this grows up. Does that do anything for us in terms of like what this person is doing? Or the opinions of this fellow? If we make this a 3, what happens then? If we do that, if this is gray, that's definitely green. So it's looking for grays. This is looking for greens. It's just the 5 seems right. This can't be 5. Right? I'm looking for greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks this. If I'm shopping for greens, this whole thing can't be green. So this can't be 5. Does that feel true? It's exciting. How does that interplay with this person? Oh man, okay, like it feels like we have this like delicate balance going on here. We also know that one of these does have to grow down. Recall that. This one of these does have to extend down. It could be this person. Can these be the same color? I don't know. Okay. If we put a 4 here, okay, check this out. If we put a 4 here, it's not possible to have 4 greens, right? It's only possible to have 4 grays. So if we put a 4 here, it's definitely green, right? Because if I put a gray 4 here, it doesn't work. There's only 3 greens available. So that would make this a green 4. If this is a green 4, then this is a green 4. That means these are all gray. These are all gray, but we have to see 3 greens. Maybe it just works. Like this 4, these become gray. That means all 3 of these are green. But does that work? Oh, it feels so close. Wait, then what? Row 8, column 2? Oh, yeah. You're right. No. That's right. Okay, I'm right. But in a clumsy way. Yes. Right. Okay. Good grief. Back up here. If this is a 4, it can't be gray. It must be green, right? And if that's true, these all have to be gray, and this is to 3, but it sees 4, right? So we're saying this cannot be 4. Because it breaks the sight line. Is that what you're saying? That it breaks the sight line, or does it break something else? When you say bad Sudoku, do you mean bad sight lines, or is there something like a Sudoku thing I'm missing? I'm going to tell you that I don't think this is a 4. Oh, you got double 4s. Well, right. Because, of course, because, yeah, depending on the order, it's either bad Sudoku or bad sightlines, because this would be a 4. So by sightlines, this is 4. Anyway, I don't think that's a 4. I think this is only a 2 or a 3. Lamely, God, it feels so close. This, by the way, is at least a 3. So these people are battling each other, right? They've got like a chess match. Head to head. Okay, it feels like we're very close on this. If this is a 4, it grows like at least like this, right? Like that is at least true, that if you put a 4 here, it grows at least like this. Yeah. Okay, ready? You're gonna love this. If we put a 4 here, it is at minimum shaped like this. Oops, sorry. At minimum shaped like this. If we try to shape it like this, we're trying to see 4 greens. There are not 4 greens. But if we shape it like this and we try to see 4 greens, we can have 4 greens, but then the sight line breaks because we would have a 3 there. So I think this is a 3. And this is a 2. And this is a 3. And this is not a 3. And this is not a 3. And this is not a 3. This being a 3 does mean these are all the same color, which means they can't be gray because that would cause 2x2 problems. So these must be green. Because this is a 4 or a 5, it has to turn the corner. This then must be gray. We knew this must be gray because we knew it was the opposite of this, right? We know this is gray because it's counting these digits. Things are happening. I know things are happening. This must see 3, right? We have to avoid a checkerboard, and this must see 3. So this is absolutely gray. This then ends, right? We can't see further than that. The digit we are counting is we're counting greens. So this must be gray. That was fun. We did some stuff happen. Did you see that? Did you see some stuff happen? It happened right before our eyes. So, we're trying to find 3 greens. So this is green. which we knew one of these had to come down. We knew it. I knew it in my bones that one of those had to come down. This is minimum 4. I feel like we could do better than that, right? This 2 is going to go somewhere. Oh, come on. Okay. This person, minimum 4, in fact, but never 5, right? Because it couldn't be 5. It's 4 or 6, period, right? Because it couldn't, I don't think there's a way for this to be a 5 without it becoming a 6. Feels true. Big if true. This now sees 3 greens here and 3 greens here. So this is 6, 7, 8, or 9. The cage 2 knows what to do in its heart. What does it know what to do? This caged 2 now feels compelled to do what? We see these 2 people. It's got to grow. Do we know which way it grows? We know it is hemmed in for sure. Oh, right. There's a checkerboard. Checkerboard. Please note the checkerboard. That makes you gray. It's maybe getting hard for this to be 9. In fact, I don't think it can be. Oh man, unless it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You shut up. Anyway, this 2 has reached its limits, right? We had to do that for the checkerboard. This 2 is fenced off over here and over here. That means green must connect on the perimeter. This cannot be a checkerboard, so it must be green. This digit is known. And, well, this digit is known to be a 2. We know there's a 2 here, it would seem. This digit is a 7. Right? You're a 7? You're not a 3, by the way. You're not a 7, by the way. This must be bigger than 7, right? It's 8 or 9, because it's going to peek on over. Could it be 9? Unclear. This person... Uh-oh, did I do something wrong? Oh, right, it just can't be 9. You're saying if I put a 9 here... I'm sorry, where were we? Where can't be 9? I've lost the thread. I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about here. If we try to put 9 here, what happens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. To avoid this checkerboard. We have to make that. That is true. You're right. That is just an 8. Is that just an 8? And this is gray? And this is not an 8. The thing I was about to say... What was I about to say? Right, did we roll 9 out of here now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This can't be 9. The 9 that's been plaguing me for so long, for my whole life. We know the count of this is just 4, I think. This is forced to be a 5, which means it needs to grow, which means we need gray here. Does that seem true to everyone? We have our count. This is absolutely 3. And this includes it. This is... Sorry, I lost the thread a little bit. We have a 3, right? 3's placed. No, I'm sorry. 3 could be here. No. 3 can't be here. Sorry. This is looking for grays. It's minimum 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's maximum 4. So this is not 5 or 6. I'm sorry. I see things in the corner, but I feel like starting to come together. I can feel it. I can feel it. I have to say the kisses are a little harder to see than the tomatoes, but I feel like I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. Oh my gosh. This puzzle is never supposed to take this long. Blobz knows better than to give me a yin yang puzzle, but I love them. Even though I feel like I do them such a disservice. Okay, we did this 5. We closed off this 5. We said, oh, we broke the puzzle. Wait, sorry, I broke the puzzle. This is wrong. This can't be 5. I broke the puzzle. Wait, what did I just do? How did I do that? Oh, because this, I'm sorry. This doesn't see 4. This sees 5. I'm sorry. Bad nonsense. This sees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. This is 4. I'm sorry. That's just me being absurd. This is now fenced off here. And this is now also gray. We're trying to count greens, by the way. Did I make another mistake? And then this, did I do it again? Did I just do the same thing again twice? Wait, gosh, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Oh, I meant to put a 2 here and a 5 here. Okay. Are we good now? Are we good? Are we good? Sorry. I got excited and it was moving quickly. I, as you can see, do a bad job of like looking at chat and coming back and then making an absurd mistake. Like, okay. No more problems. Everything's good. Everybody's happy? Everyone's happy? Okay. So we need 4 grays here, which means these must all be gray. Is that right? We need 4 grays in the grayborhood. That makes this at least a 3. This must be green to avoid checkerboards. This cannot be very big, but it has to grow. This is minimum 4, but it's also maximum 4, right? This is both minimum because it's not 2, 3, but it can only be 4. Do we agree with that? Is that the only way to do that? We're counting greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 greens. This is a 3 when all is said and done. Forcing the 2 here, which we will only want 2 grays, which forces a green here. Finally a green there, which forces a 4 here. I'm definitely going to make more mistakes, so just brace yourself for that. I broke the puzzle and the background. Yeah, I think it may actually be like connected together, that every time I break the puzzle, the background breaks too. Uh-oh. Background's not refreshing anymore. Uh-oh. Do we reach the limit of the... did I crash OBS? Maybe I shouldn't touch anything. Did I break the stream? Are we still streaming? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, we maybe I'm a little scared to continue poking the background because it seems to be getting angry at me. Okay, now what? Now we know, well, okay, some of this gets real easy, right? Green's got to connect to green. Green must like reach its home, so that's easy. And we get counts on things, which is a count of 6 here and a count of 7 here. Does that feel true to you? Feels true to me. This ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 already. So you're not 5. I'm just getting momentarily suspicious about 9s. Or maybe my suspicions are unfounded. Anyway, Okay, so in terms of our counts, it seems like we're enjoying ourselves. There's only one gray. Oh, bummer. Wait, what is this? We don't know this yet still? Really? Are you serious? I just want to do an audit of counts. We're counting grays. Right, we want to count grays. 1, 2, 3, 4 max. So this is not 5 or 6. But, so one or both of these are gray. Do we know the answer? Do we know the secret? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 doesn't work. This can't be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, because then there's only 2 grays and we can't count 2. So this is not 8. That's 6 or 7, which conforms to this 3 or 4, or aligns with whatever word you want to use. It does feel like we should know some things. The perimeter's feeling pretty good. This person is living slightly in a world of ambiguity. RDC's 3 doesn't want to connect. Also, is there somebody that needs to slither out? Yeah, here's a checkerboard. So this must be gray. It feels like we probably have more of that. Like of slithery little creeps. Okay, so this person sees 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a 4 there. So this must grow. So this becomes gray. That's required by law. We also should probably count these 3, the greens. There's already 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this can never be 9, right? There's just not enough greenitude. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 9 are seen. Oh wait, no, we just know this. It can't grow anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's just a 6. This is green after all, which counts 2 greens. We remove 2s from here. What are you counting? These are not all the same, so it's definitely not 5. The only way this could be a 1 is if these were both green. I'm sorry. The only way this could be a 1 if these were both green and this was green, right? Uh-oh, did I make a mistake? I don't like to see a huh. Where's my mistake? What did I do? Oh no, what did I do? Oh no, what did I do? What did I do? How bad is it? Oh, did I just say the words backwards? It's fine if I say the words backwards. Okay, right, sorry. If this is a 1, it has to be green to be counting the gray. My words are bad. The 3 has some more flexibility, I think. What are you doing? You're counting greens. We talked about that. You're counting grays, right? We talked about that. We talked about you're counting greens. There are already 4, 5, 6. 7, 8. You're not 5. Do I need to be, what are we kissing? We got some kisses up here. Okay, kisses. Okay, I'll look there in just a second. I was just getting momentarily distracted by 6s, but I don't think it was a useful distraction. I mean, there's things we could pencil mark, but it just doesn't immediately seem very useful. It's almost useful, like the 4s going down here, the 6s in the middle, the 3s end up at the top, all of that stuff, but it doesn't actually seem to arrive anywhere. Okay, what are we doing? we're saying what? We're saying that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're trying to count grays. If there were only 3 grays, what are you doing? This does have to grow. But could it be 3? I mean, it's minimum 3. We don't know about this person. Okay, sorry. What's going on? We're saying what? We're saying that we already see 6. We could in some world see 7. This is minimum 5. I see the kisses. Look at all these kisses. I'm surrounded by kisses. Okay, sorry, I'll get there. I'm overwhelmed with kisses. I'm overwhelmed with emotions from all the kisses. Right, we were thinking about this. We were thinking about the kisses are out of control. Look at those kisses. Okay. I've never felt so threatened by kisses before. I feel like I'm like under siege, actually. Like a kiss attack. This is one of two things, right? It's either 3. It's 3 right now. It can never be. Oh, but it could grow down. Did we decide this could grow down or not? I apologize. I realize I'm just missing something that should be obvious, but. Also, why are there 3 options here when there's only 2 variations? I guess it could be 6 or 7 or 8. the like the fanaticism of the kisses. There's like, I just can't handle it emotionally. Okay, so sorry. Let's think about what we have here. It's probably an obvious thing. We're trying to count grays. If that's a 7, this is a gray. If this is gray, this is a relatively constrained person. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just not seeing this. We got that. We got that. This is minimum 3. It does have to grow. Is there a world where this is just a 3? Okay, I have to like tunnel vision for a second and not notice the kisses that are, they're like bees stinging me. It's like being stung by bees. Anxiety kisses. Okay, these 2s see here. This sees 4. What is this person doing? What are you doing with your life, person? We know we have to grow. How did we rule 4 out of here? That's how. We know we've got to grow somewhere with this fellow, right? This fellow is required to spread its wings. Can it ever be 8? Oh, we can place it 9, by the way. There's no 9s up here. This is not 9. These aren't 9s. Seems like this is a 9. Is that a thing we can do? That's exciting. What is this? I'm sorry, I'm distracted by my newfound 9. I know that's not what I was supposed to do, but here we are. Okay, maybe that's not helpful. It's possibly slightly helpful in terms of the 1. But maybe not, because we could put a 1 here. I was just trying to put pressure there. Pressure. The thing I would like to do, I would like to get some more coloring. I'm sure that's what you're trying to tell me, to clue me in. We're trying to count greens here. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we at odds here? That if we put a 6 here, that if we put a 6 here, then this is gray. And then this has to be green because this will now be 7. Oh, is this never 8? That's one thing. That's a thing that seems to be true, right? For this to be 8, this would have to be true. If we try to put an 8 here, we would have to have 5 here, and then this is an 8, and then this sees too many digits, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this is the 8. So we're saying this is never 8. Is that a thing we're saying together? That is not 8? Because if this is 8, these are all green, and then this sees too many. So now we have a 6, 7 pair, which removes the 6 from here. And what else does that do? Three, 4, 5, 8. I mean, the 5 is definitely in here. Okay, I know I'm being ridiculous. Are we just saying like this can never be 8 or something really simple like that? That should be extremely obvious to me. What would it mean to try to make this 8? Knowing that this can't all be green. For this to be 8, you'd have to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's what that would have to look like. And then that's the 7. And then that's 6, but it sees too many. So if I put an 8 here, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means these are all green. That means this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're trying to see 6 greens, but we can't see 6 greens. We see 7 greens. So this is 5. Is that a thing? It seems like a 5, maybe. How do we feel about that? And then, like, this is like a 3, 4, 8 triple. And then what? Look at the kisses. The kisses are full of rage. Now what? If this is 7, is that just always true, actually? If this is 7, what, couldn't we have a scenario where there's like a gray here? One, 2, 3, 4. This has to grow one way or the other, doesn't it? I'm sorry. I'm sure this is frustrating. That seemed right. I think the 5 was right. Was the 5 right? I don't know. Is row 6, column 6 correct? Is this? No, this is wrong. You're right. Skojo, look, you're right. This was supposed to be a 1. You're right. Look at you. That was supposed to be a 1. And I even counted it and then put the wrong number there. You're right. You're right. It's even a thing where I said, we know what this is now. And then I just straight up put the wrong number there. That's incredible. I think that our other logic still stands since then, meaning the 9 and the 5, I think still stand. But thank you for catching that. That's very funny. Also, it would disambiguate the 1 here, which we were dealing with. Okay, sorry. Let's go through that again. This is clearly a 1. This is not a 1. And then we also asked ourselves whether this could ever be a 5, and it clearly cannot be a 5. And we asked ourselves whether... I know when Scojo just comes in and like evaluates some random part of the puzzle, it's incredible. Incredible. So, or are you saying it's a Scojo move to say one thing and then put the other thing in the cell, which is more what I like to do. It's a hobby that I have. Okay. That we somehow ruled 2 out of here. How did we rule 2 out of here? Did we actually rule 2? We didn't. We didn't. That was not, that was a dishonest declaration. Anyway, I think our declarations here were honest, and I think the 9 was honest, right? So the 9 can't be there and the 9 can't be there. So the 9 was honest, right? Put exactly the opposite in the grid. Yeah, that's I mean, what else, how else are you going to solve a puzzle? It's one of my favorite things to do is to do that. So this is a 2 or a 3. That's fine. We do know there's a 6 up here. I mean, we know some stuff, I guess, right? On the 9, the 6 is up here somewhere. So I'm pretty sure we said this could not be a 6. Is that true? I don't know why we said that. Okay, a couple things we said. We cannot have 8 here because that means these are all green. If we put 8 here, we're counting greens. So these are all green, and then this sees 8, so it's broken. So that is not 8. We get the 6, 7 pair that removes the 6. That's how we got rid of that 6. There is a 6 up here, I think. What color is row 3, column 5? What color is this? It could be anything. Who could possibly say? It is, what color is it? Except one of the colors? I mean, it could be basically any color. In this puzzle, you would maybe expect it to be green or gray. You could question whether gray is a color. I mean, okay. I feel like this was honest. The 8 that we had here. Was that honest? Because if we put an 8 here, it would mean what? I know that that's not the point and not what anyone wants me to do, but I just want to reclaim that 8 for some reason. Because we know we couldn't come this far because that's too many greens. We could come this far, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? That's what would have to happen. That's the only way we could come by an 8 because this is no good. And for some reason, I didn't like this. Why didn't I like this? Maybe it was invalid, the thing. No. That's too many. The reason we don't like this is that is 7 greens here. There's 3 here, 4 here. That is, we're counting 7 here. So this must be a 6. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, that was honest. That was an honest 5, right? I came by that 5 honestly. I know no one cares, but that's a good, honest 5. So, wait, what do we have to place here? What is the other missing digit? It's 3, 4, and some other digit that no one's ever heard of. Some newfangled digit. It's an 8. 3, 4, 8. Anyway, what color is this? I will tell you that it is a color known as It's a color. That is, the color starts with a G. Okay. Does it have an E in it? That depends whether you're like, if you're in England, it always has an E in it. In America, hard to say. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's think about this color logically. Because there's obviously tension here, right? If I make this green, this is a 7 and this is also a 7. So this is gray. Is it as simple as that? Is that the whole thing that I should have done for the last 20 minutes? Yellow. Yellow. Okay. Is it gray? Is that where we're arriving? Because if it's green, this is a 7 and this is a 7. Are you happy? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, look, I get this green. This is honestly earned. And this is gray, which means we are counting greens. So one of these is gray or both of them. I don't know. Grau in German, gray's grau. There's no E's. In Spanish and French, it's got a V and an E, but no G. Oh, wait, you saw it via checkerboard? Well, look, listen. I don't know what to tell you about that. I don't know what to say to you, people. What color is this? Does anyone know? Nobody's here to play checkers. I was trying to explain to someone like that, and this is maybe not true, but the game Othello is to go as checkers is to chess. Is that a fair statement? Box 3 by mathematics. You want me to do mathematics? I can barely spell mathematics. There's an E in there. There's an E in there too. Why? At some point, we're probably going to do Sudoku in this puzzle, I feel. But that day just has not arrived. Is counting to 6 really math? Maybe. Look, listen. Is counting math? I don't know. What are we're speaking of counting, we're counting greens, and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 is not the number. E to the, I've been doing lots of exponential notation trying to calculate my score in Balatro lately. And when this stream is done, I'm probably going to eat dinner and then stream more Balatro. And just as a teaser, the like fun casual, my fun casual Balatro run that I did last night, just casually to rest before bed, a nice little Balatro ASMR stream that was just supposed to be like a quick fun run. 4 hours, 19 minutes. And you can see that my score by the end, let's just see. What am I scoring by the end? What was my last score? Where's my last hand that I played? So the scoring requirement was 3.4 to the 21st power. What do I actually score? Maybe like E27, E30? I'm doing math here to figure out because the scoring here is complicated. And it's also like 1:30 in the morning, and you can see I'm gradually losing my ability to do math. What was my score? Hello. It's nighttime. I don't want to disturb my neighbors. Wait, it's not actually. Okay, I heard my own voice. E29. My previous Balatro run, the previous video that I posted, is my score was so large that that it could not be calculated, and I was trying to beat infinity and I scored infinity, but unfortunately infinity is not larger than infinity, and so I lost. I lost the game. Balatro is an incredible game, by the way. It is whatever number to the 21st. So that was like 3, whatever that was. Quintillions, I don't know, 3.4 to the 21st or something. Remembering, okay, so you're arguing that like counting to 6 is not actually math. It's just like, it's almost like singing your ABCs or something. It's just remembering the order of things. Okay, so we do need to see 7. So this is green. It is in fact counting this gray digit. So I don't know what to tell you about that. It's a thing that appears to be true. I don't have a lot of conclusions about that. We're trying to count greens. We have 4, 5, 6. One of these is a green person. Where are we? What are we doing? We counted our grays, right? 1, 2, 3 grays. This is a 3. We remove the 3s here. We get a 4, 8 pair. It's almost starting to look like a Sudoku puzzle. Almost. What do we think happens up here? I probably have some silly checkerboard or something, like that checkerboard I didn't see for an hour up here, but we don't talk about that. This is minimum 3. What are we counting here, do you think? We're counting greens. I see 2 of them. I think we already talked about that and I already forgot because my brain is winding down. You might argue it had not fully spun up for this stream, but I would say that would maybe be a rude thing to say to me out loud. We know so little about 8s. We know little about 7s. Okay, what is going on with some of these kinds of people? We know that one or the other of these must expand its horizons, right? Like that's just a thing that needs to happen. So one of these sees at least 4. But could you be a 3? What color is 5, 5? We don't talk about that. We just let that do its thing. It's just hanging out. We did our pencil marking for Terrier Darts. This is just, I might make it yellow or something. Probably. Oh, well, okay, right. I will, right. I think I see something like a blinking kiss here. Wait a minute. You're the order of numbers. Okay. The order of numbers just arbitrarily kind of don't matter. Like you could sort them later, like you sort your laundry or something. But you're saying the order of the alphabet never matters in terms of like, yeah, I guess I would agree. The order of the alphabet is very arbitrary, except we use alphabetical order for so much just for sorting things. But I guess you're right. So is this like a QWERTY keyboard versus Dvorak keyboard? Skojo, are you going to come up with an alternative alphabet order? Just like the Skojo order? My favorite thing about Cyrillic, and not that I know anything about Cyrillic, but the thing I know about Cyrillic, at least enough to be entertaining to me, is just there was a guy named Cyril, and he just showed up and was like, hey, this is the alphabet. And everybody was like, okay. Like, so you could be the new Saint Cyril. You could be the guy that just comes in, and you could be like Saint Skojo. You guys know the Skojo? Yeah, it's like, so yes, obviously it starts with SCO. O, J, O. I don't know why there's two O's in this alphabet, but I will make the case that it is reasonable to have two O's in an alphabet because we do have a U and a double U. So there's three U's in the alphabet already. So I think having like an O and a double O is not unreasonable. You could also do the thing where you have like it could be like you have an O, but then you have a backwards O. Kind of like in Cyrillic with backwards letters. I like the idea of a backwards O. Okay, what are we doing here? What's this person doing? This person sees either 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is 4 or 8 only. Oh yeah, we have a count here, don't we? We're counting greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8. Forces the 4 here. That means this person is capped off. You're distracting me with this Sudoku when I'm like world building. You want me to get it in under 3 hours? It's not going to happen. How about sub 4 hours I will commit to? Sub 4 hours, let's lock in. I think we can lock in and do this. If you switch to the O with the O, it's kind of nonsensical, I would argue. Instead of Skojo, it's Skojo. And it sounds weird. I like the way Skojo looks because I like the way Ojo looks, the word Spanish for eye, because it looks like two eyes and a little nose. It's almost like a hieroglyph, sort of. Like Ojo just looks like, and then if you just add a ska in front of it, it's like you get an ear on one side. Maybe we need another ear on this side. I don't know what the C is. Oh, that's hair. Right. How do you make a backwards C? I don't know off the top of my head. But like, you get kind of a little person with like, they've got their ears sticking out and then maybe some like curly hair. I like that. So, right. And then lol looks like a little guy doing this. Like this. Lol. Arms up in the airs. Ojo can mean beware. Yeah, right. That's a little bit different than lol, but fairly close. With an exclamation point. Like, is that a factorial? Is that right? The factorial of Ojo is like, look! Use your eyes. Eyes on the prize. Eyes on me. Keep your head on a swivel. Whatever terms you want to use. What are we doing in this puzzle? This is not a 2, right? Because it cannot be. So it must grow. So it must come here. So it must be another number. That is a 5. And that means we're counting greens and there's only 2 greens. And it means what? This can be a 4 or a 6 or an 8. So it's never 3. I think we can agree with that. And I think it's never 7. Because 1, 2, 3, 4 forces 5. Wait, I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 forces 6. 7 forces 8. So I think it's only 6. And that this is gray and this is green. Is that true? Row 5, column 7. Wait, row 5, column 7. Am I going to ignore this? Oh, wait, am I just not counting? I'm sorry. Yes, I am going to not count that. I'm sorry. Good grief. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, we got to here. I don't know why I was just not seeing that. Somehow my brain was interpreting that as white. We see 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's not 3, it's not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not allowed because 7 happens. I'm sorry, very silly. So it is 7. Were you happy with that? If with this being gray and this being green, and we have the whole, our whole factory is now operational. GG. Yeah, we're not good. We still got 4 minutes or 3.5 minutes to actually like fill in the puzzle. I guess we can fill in things like this is a 3. And this is a 5, 6, 7. Anybody, so we did all the clues. Do we now have to do Sudoku? Is that where we are with our lives? No, we got this guy. That's a 6. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. It's true. It could happen. It feels unlikely. The likelier thing is I start to try to do things quickly, and then that makes me make a mistake. Feels like the more, that's probably what I would bank on. What are the numbers? See, if I had a song that could help me remember the numbers, I would have an easier time putting in the numbers. Like, but no one has written a number song, and I don't know. It just makes it hard on me. Specifically. Also, I just like really lose a lot of momentum here. Just because this is the most boring part of a puzzle, even when we have a octuplet, an octuple. Here's that song again. The song that I say is good every single time it comes on. I'm going to say it again. What do we need here? We need a 5. We need a 9. We need a 1. Let's go. The timer will go forever. The Sudoku puzzle, the solution, like, how sad is it when the puzzle's over? What a sad thing. It's so rare we get a yin-yang sightline puzzle from Blobz. It's actually better to do a bad job of it so that you can savor it for longer, is what I say. I also say what? I say that we need, I have like, my brain is just not into this. We need a 1, a 6, and a 7. We'll just start pencil marking and then something will emerge, right? You're not a 6, you're not a 7. How dare you end the puzzle like this? I just like cannot make my brain, something's wrong with my brain. That much is clear. This is a 4, 5, 8, right? And that's only 8. 4, 8 pair. This is 1, 3, 7. That's not a 3. That leaves 9, 5, 4. Right? That's only 4 because it's working 9 to 5 down there. 1759. Why does this feel like it's because I'm looking in the wrong places probably? What is this? 6, 9 pair? Maybe. 1. Why is this so hard? Where's all the numbers? Okay, let's just do it. 1, 7, 1, 7, 5, 9. It's a 1, 7, 5, 9. The 5, 9 down here. The 5, 7 here. This is a debacle. Maybe I shouldn't do it this way, and I should just look for 1s. Is maybe like more fruitful. Or 2s. How about 2s? Do we have all the 2s? We're surely close. We got every single 2. We got a full collection. Collection complete. What about 3s? We got 3s everywhere? We have a number of 3s. An insufficient number of 3s. How do you feel about 4s? Pretty good. I feel pretty good about 4s. Not great, but okay. This is a better strategy than just like begrudgingly pencil marking everything and then complaining about it the whole time. 4s going once, twice. Okay, 5s. How do you feel about 5s? Good. I feel 9, 5. We got all our 5s. How do you feel about 6s? We don't know enough about 6s. Very little is known about the 6. What do we need in here? We need a 9 and another number. Maybe a 7. I'm going to try to time this so we end like exactly on the buzzer. I'm really not going to do that, but I could. Okay. No distractions. This is it. Home stretch. The 1 gets placed. Some number goes in here. Some number no one cares about. 8's a pretty good number, actually. Maybe I'll start like ranking numbers just by like my affection for them instead of just sticking to the traditional order. It's always the 8. Okay, this is a great time. Look at this. Plenty of extra time. Easy. Easy. Okay, thank you for sticking around. As always, I feel like I do such a disservice to Blobz settings, but I have fun with the long meandering streams. I enjoy it. I really enjoy everyone spending some time here. Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have really slowed down. I should have, what I really should have done, if I really planned it, I should have made a mistake that like didn't immediately break, but would break like with only a few seconds to go. I mean, it's probably a world record. Blobz, I don't know if I forgot what the link is. Blobz does have like the magical solve, excuse me, like metadata pulled from Sven. I don't know if Sven does like solve times though. I can't remember. There was no reason for that to take that long. Okay, so I love this puzzle. I definitely, there was, like Juggler pointed out, I don't know that once you wrap your mind about it, it's like, I don't think it's like a fundamental problem, but like the keeping in mind that arrows can penetrate, but sightlines can't. But I feel like I didn't have too much trouble with that. Seeing some of the sightline things, I feel like I should have done a better job with, especially seeing like the same thing twice. My favorite thing though, and I'm sure there were more opportunities to do it, and I'm sure that we could have done it more fluidly, was the like oppositional forces kinds of things where there was pressure from, it was actually a couple places where there's like this pressure related to the sight lines and the counts that was that was maybe like the parts that felt like the big breakthrough parts, right? Like some of the stuff here, like breaking through, like, wow, but if this is this, and it breaks it's valid for the arrow counts. I think we had some cases here where it's like, well, it's valid for the arrow counts, but it puts a 4 here and this sees 4 digits. That's fun. These came into play way later than I expected, actually, like at the very, very, very end, which makes me feel either that you're supposed to ignore them the whole time like I did, or you're not supposed to ignore them the whole time. Maybe. Okay. That's probably long enough for one puzzle, I think. I still might make a terrible choice with my life and take a break, and then I might pick up on that same Balatro run that I'm already 4 hours and 20 minutes into. The thing is it's anybody's guess. It could either be another 4 hours, or it could be 4 minutes and I make a mistake and die. Who could say? It could go either way. Also, I'm getting a weird message from Twitch that I don't remember ever getting, which is that my connection's unstable because my bit rate is too high. Is that a new thing? I used to get like the unstable connection. It's like, yeah, your bit rate is like garbage. But now it's saying, I'm sorry, your connection is just too good, sir. Average stream bit rate too high. Again, suffering from success. My bit rate is just incredible. You'll notice my office looks a little bit cleaner. That is because everything is on the floor. I'll be honest with you. I'm just trying that thing where you get most of the mess kind of like out of the camera. Frustum. Frustum's a good vocabulary word. We already said we liked ablution. Frustum is also good. It's very tempting to say frustrum, but it's frustum. Okay, everybody, thanks for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. For the people I haven't talked to in a while, I've missed you. It was nice to check in. For the new people who dropped by, I appreciate that as well. And for Terrier Darts, who did the drive-by trolling, always appreciated. Sad that Grimbone didn't come and ban that one person, but hey, it'll happen. You are all the best. I will try to stream again. Scream again? I will scream again soon, and maybe stream again soon. And yeah, right, Skojo, I'm gonna mail you a thing. Okay, goodbye.